So with the fall time and the winter time, springtime, it really is difficult to, I don't know, gauge your electricity use and all that stuff without actually coming down and looking at it. And the reason is well, I don't know. It is easy to get complacent. Maybe that's where I should start. During the summer months, when it's during the summer, the days are long. There are a few cloudy days. You're always getting a good charge from the solar panels. It's easy just to wake up in the morning, not worry about it, go through the day, check up in the sky a few times, make sure there's no clouds, fill the water, then let the panels charge 7, well, maybe 6 o'clock at night. Everything's charging, you got good electric, you know, everything. So everything works in the summertime. Well, in the wintertime, you get complacent and you forget. Well, the days are shorter. You know, by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, the panels are already starting to get shaded. Because of the short day, and then it's always so cloudy. So yesterday morning I got up and I ran the generator because I knew it was going to be mostly cloudy. Well, then in the afternoon it kind of peaked up in the sun. And so I didn't really think about it, but it was already shaded sun because the trees, you know, I got all these trees over here that shade it. Somebody's gonna say, well, move the solar panels. Well, these are the most optimal, this is the most optimal spot that I can find without having to constantly move them. I moved them once, like a few years ago, and this was the perfect spot. So I'm gonna leave them here. Now I did buy these two, and I tried to make those mobile over here where I can move them around, but I've just kind of given up on that. I guess out of laziness, I don't know. I didn't see the point of really moving them around anymore because it is what it is. Now some people say you should lift them up and down, and there is some validity to that if it's extreme angles. You know, I kind of keep them at an in-between angle, and I don't ever see a difference. But when I lay them straight on the ground, there's a significant difference versus lifting them up. So I just kind of leave them at this angle, kind of like a brick height, you know, a block like that. About that high, and it seems to do okay. I just don't mess with them too much. They do okay, especially in the summertime. So we bought this new generator, and which is really irrelevant to any conversation here, but we bought the new generator right around fall time, and so I've been pretty excited about using it. I like using it. I try not to overuse it because you don't want to waste gas, but I've had to use it quite a bit. I mean, we're up to like 95 hours on it already. I mean, it's pretty significant because of the cloudy days. And then when you go shopping, that's the biggest hiccup in our whole entire system. And I'm sure somebody's going to have a miraculous solution. Is when we go shopping, we have to freeze meat. And so the freezer runs 3 days. Now, when it's really cold outside, we have an advantage. We just leave the food outside. It freezes outside. We cover it up so the animals don't get into it. We actually have a basin, a sink that we can put in it, and then put a board on it with a piece of concrete, and the animals can't get in it. It freezes outside, and then we can bring it into the freezer, and then we don't have to freeze that meat with our own energy. But when it's 40 degrees outside and we're almost in December, I mean, that's just not a solution. So we had to run the generator. Now, we always have in the past, and it's near impossible to schedule our trips around sunny days. So you look at the app and you say, oh, look at that, Sunday's going to be a sunny day, let's go then. It turns out, no, it's cloudy. I mean, you can't trust the weather. But you got to go sometime. You can't just keep guessing. So you go, and it's a cloudy day. So you bring it back. Well, as soon as you put it in the freezer, you're going to have to start the generator because you don't have enough power to power the freezer. And of course, you still got to charge the batteries, so you end up running it quite a bit on those days. And then you have the cloudy days, and it takes about 3 hours to charge the batteries. in the morning. And then you got to remember, okay, was there any sun today? If there was, do I need to charge the batteries at night because you need to get through the night? So it's just a lot of thinking, a lot more thinking in the summertime, or excuse me, in the wintertime or in fall and spring. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you that you get complacent in the summertime. Summertime's nice with solar panels. So, I mean, I really don't have much of a point to this, just other than explaining the whole process to you. Well, there has been maybe 2 occasions since we've been here that I can recall one, but I'm sure I've had one other, where in the middle of the night, I've ran out of electricity. One of those times is when Carolyn's son was here. I don't know if he ran something that night or something, and we didn't have enough power, and so the electric went out. Now, what's fascinating is how easily I wake up when the electric goes out. Now, I wear earplugs, so I don't hear any tone changes. What it is, my cell phone lights up, because when you unplug the cell phone, it lights up. So you lose electric, it lights up. And for whatever reason, it wakes me up every time. I've never failed. Sometimes the inverter will hiccup for whatever reason. Like, well, I don't want to explain all. Well, maybe. I don't know. The battery charger, the car battery charger, charges to 14.3 volts. But I don't think the battery charger actually charges 14.3 volts. I think it charges 14.4 volts. The inverters will let's call it overcharged, too much electric, at 14.3 volts. Maybe it's 14.2 volts. I don't know how accurate these things are. So when the batteries are fully charged and the charger is still running, the freezer kicks off. Because let's say it was running, the freezer kicks off, and then all of a sudden, the inverter loses electricity because it's shutting off on overload. It's only briefly, but it'll wake me up. So, other things you got to learn about inverters and battery chargers and all that thing. And nothing's exactly, everything says 14.3, everything, but it's just not. So, I'm pretty good at waking up. So when Carolyn's son, I would imagine, used electricity at night and didn't realize he couldn't or whatever, it didn't matter. We lost electricity, so I came down and started generating. No big deal. So the only worry I had is in the summertime, and copperheads. You got to be careful with copperheads at night. And you're out here crawling around at night trying to start a generator. You got to be careful. But in the wintertime, obviously you don't have to worry about any of that except put on a coat. It's cold. So last night I lost electric, and at first I didn't understand why I was losing electric, so I kind of rolled back over, and the phone went off, and I didn't even really realize I lost electric. I just the phone lit up. I just thought that maybe the phone lit up, because I didn't even comprehend why I'd be losing electric, because I got complacent from the summertime. And there was absolutely no explanation as to why. But then I rolled back over to go back to sleep, and I thought, wait a minute. No. I forgot to run the generator last night. It was cloudy all day. The freezer's been running because we went shopping. And I didn't run the generator last night at all to get us through the night. So I got up, and I came down here, and the inverter had shut off. The batteries were depleted below the shut-off point of the inverter, which kind of saves the batteries from damage. It's a little bit lower than I like, because it shuts off like 11.5 volts. That's pretty low. So anyway, it shuts off. So I started the generator, put some gas in, started the generator at 1:30 in the morning, and I thought this will get me till 4:30 this morning. So went back to bed. I looked out the window before I went back to bed. The green light was still on. So I went back to bed. Well, I got up some more at 4:30, and the light was off. And I thought, man, there's no way this thing ran out of gas. Maybe it did. So I'm counting out, let's see, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. That's 3 hours. Well, possibly it went out. So I come down here and I look at the charge, and it's about ready to shut off again. And we're at 11.5. I mean, we're dangerously close of getting to a low charge. So I thought, well, what happened here? So I come over here, and the gas is mostly still in it. It just died. So now I'm worried about the generator. So I start it up, starts first pull, no problem. I thought, well, I'm gonna sit here for a minute, thinking maybe there's water in the gas or something like that. Nope. So I walk back up to the house. I start editing my video. I look back outside, and the green light's off. Huh, it died again. So I come back down here, I start it back up, and I sit here and wait. And now I'm starting to think, what could possibly be wrong with this thing? I don't get it. This is impossible. It's a brand new generator. But when something runs and dies, it can be one of two things. And in my brain, I was only thinking of one thing at 4:30 in the morning. Well, I don't know, maybe closer to 5 at this point. So I'm thinking it needs a new ignition coil. I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna have to order a new part. Should I send this thing back? I mean, it's brand new, but it's got almost 100 hours. Are they gonna take it back? Well, you know, I gotta find the parts because it's a generic off-brand. So I sit here and I think, wait a minute. I bet I was down here 4 or 5 minutes. The two things that always shuts off while it's running, you know, if it's running and it just shuts off unexpectedly, it's usually one of two things. The ignition coil has gotten hot and just shut off, or you've ran out of gas. Well, you can run out of gas if there's a vacuum in the tank and the gas can't get down to the carburetor. Well, this has a shutoff, a gas vent shutoff. When you shut this, that keeps air from going inside the gas tank. Helps preserve the gas a little bit longer, so I guess that's their thinking. You open it up and now it can breathe. So you don't get a vacuum in the gas tank. Well, I guess when 1:30 in the morning, I wasn't really clearly thinking when I took the gas cap off to put more gas in, and I must, as I was turning, because if you look, you turn this way. I guess I just flipped it while I was trying to get the gas cap off. So at 4:30 in the morning, I realized, or 5, let's just call it 5. I realized, oh, I'm just not getting gas to the carburetor because I've created a vacuum. So what I found astonishing is I mean, the machine only ran 5 or 10 minutes probably at 1:30 when I woke up this morning because it would have ran out of gas. The vent was closed. So it would have died. So in that 10 minutes, 15 minutes of runtime, let's even call it a half hour, which I'm sure it didn't last that long. We got enough charge to get us through the rest of the night without the electric shutting off. So I mean, you get complacent, I guess is where I'm trying to go with this. You get complacent, you forget, you just run out of electric. I'm sure people are going to argue you should do this, get lithium ion, and you know, they all got solutions, but all of them also have problems. Every solution has a problem. When you live off grid, you don't have the grid to keep you supplied with electrical stuff. I mean, when the electric shuts down on you, you have to suffer a little bit. Even if you have a generator, you can't, unless you specifically set up your house to have a generator accepted to your house, or you got one of those big diesel generators, you have to suffer. Even if you have a generator, you might run the air conditioner and the freezer and that kind of stuff, the refrigerator, but you're not going to run every appliance in the house. You're not going to run the wash machine and the dryers and all that. So it just happens. My thing is, why I think I'm better than living on grid, is you don't know how long your grid's going to be down. I do. I know that my grid's going to be down until I walk down here and fix the problem. The thing is, I have a backup generator, so if this had been messed up, which, you know, my mistake, then I just grabbed another generator and brought it down here. It would have been frustrating at 5 o'clock in the morning or even at 1:30 in the morning. I'd have been mad, but in the end, 10 minutes later, I would have had electric easily. So I just find the complaints about my system ironic. You complain about my system because it's not flawless when you are literally hooked up to a imperfect system, and it's only going to get worse over time. So if you'll click this up next box to take the video over to my other channel, I'd appreciate it. Go check it out. So I hope I can inspire you. Don't be a hypocrite. Sing, live your dreams. Thanks for watching.